Hello.
What up?
How are
I just
you?
made it into the office.
Really? Oh, I
Yeah,
saw
I
you
was
got a
waiting. So like I had to get, I moved into the new house, then I had to get a washer and dryer delivery.
yeah.
And then I had to get internet set up too, but the internet, I didn't have like the wire because it was like they redid the whole house, so it wasn't like set up.
Mhm.
And so he had to like drill it, so it just took longer. And I was like, I really hope this gets done because it was supposed to be like 10 a.m. They came
Right.
and luckily he got it all sorted out. So
Hello, Michael. You're always on these webinars. How are you today? Yeah, it's always fun when, they get stuff figured out. I have so much to fix here.
I know, but I was like, first I was like, okay, I have two options. One, internet gets set up and then I just do it here. Two, he gets
Right.
done in time and I can make it to the office. So
Yeah.
luckily we got done. So
Hello, Mark. Hello, Brian. Yeah, I looked at the time and I was like, oh, it's almost 1 o'clock because a lot of the webinars are at 2.
mhm.
But then I'm like, dial it back.
Yeah. Hopefully this isn't okay. I know you guys are recording it, so it's not like, hey Dean. Oh, you named yourself. I didn't name. Oh, who named
No,
me?
I
did.
did.
Oh,
I named
nice.
all of you.
I thought you named yourself. That's hilarious.
No, when I sent you guys the email, I named you guys.
That's funny.
Hi,
What's
Dean.
happening? Hello, how are you? How is
I'm-
everybody?
It's
Good.
cold still.
Yeah, it's cold here
cold.
too. Not like not like up there, but it's
Yeah, Dean, you can't
Right.
complain to us at all.
no.
I guess you were in Michigan though for a while. I mean, you understand the cold.
Yeah, like it's still in the 50s here. It's just crappy out and raining.
Oh, boo-hoo. 50s. The
But-
kid had a 2-hour delay this morning.
I know, I saw that. I saw everybody posting that.
Joshua says it's actually cold in Florida today. LOL. Well, still, let's see what it is here.
Yeah, for Florida it is, but
You need a
Not for-
Zoom call with Tristan. Why do you want to talk to Tristan? He's funny.
I will definitely let him know, but
He'd be a guest appearance. 16 here in Montana. Yeah, it's pretty cold here too. It's like in the 20s, I think.
yeah, 16 is really cold.
Once it gets below 20, I'm out. I'm done.
it's been at least like -3 in the mornings.
That's just one. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I just don't want to be outside after that. But
Yeah, it's not fun.
yeah. Do you look weird without a hat?
I know. I almost
Not
put
used
one
to it.
on. I almost
Honesty. Heather always with the honesty.
almost put one on and I was like, I got them laying around everywhere. My
I'm just so
dogs
used
keep
to it.
eating them.
All right, my
Really?
dogs are just barking.
Yeah,
24/7.
like my dogs keep eating all my hats.
Hmm.
They'll just take
Weird.
them from wherever.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
I don't trust my dogs, but right now they're doing their own thing. As long as they stay quiet, I'm good. We'll just get started in about like 3 minutes or so, since this does start at 1. Give some people some time to pop on. And the common trend this year is always talking about the weather before each webinar
know.
started.
It's in the winter and it's cold. Dean's like trying to make us jealous.
He's in his winter jacket. The photo that Tracy posted, I was like, you were literally ready for weather here.
I know. Well, when I did that IG live, everybody kept making fun of me because I was sitting, it was like 50, but it was kind of windy. So I was just sitting out back. And then I did that IG live with like Carrie and I forget who was on it. I don't even remember who was on it.
John was there because I remember you requested me.
Carrie, Carrie, John, and
nap.
Katie. Carrie, John, and Katie. But yeah, everybody was giving me shit because I was dressed kind of warm.
That's funny.
Nothing wrong with that. Just hopefully this weather breaks because I'm tired of shoveling snow.
I know, I can imagine, man. I had to put my Sherpa on to take the garbage out this morning. That's how cold it is here. So
I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I walked out in shorts and a hoodie to take out my garbage, and there was like a foot of snow.
I don't mind like shoveling, but it's the whole drive. Like last night I was driving home and like I worked out after work, so it was like dark and it was like it was snowing pretty good, and just the hills with the combination of ice and snow. I hate that, but
the roads last night were a little sketchy because I was going to go to dinner with Vincenzo, Jeremy, and John, and he called me. He goes, it's not worth driving out here. So I was like, all right.
Oh, yeah, that
Hello.
Where were they at? Where were they just at? Were they at Justine's gym? Is that where they were?
yeah.
Yeah.
She has a pretty cool gym.
Yeah,
We'll have to go there next
it
time.
looked really nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
next time I come up, I want to go there.
Yeah, I went there
to
one
take you
time.
to Dean's Fitness. Like, I just want to take you to Dean's Fitness.
I
I've
know.
never been there personally, but like, I just want you to go there.
I
It's a
know,
very
I
old
pa-
school gym,
I
like
pass
old
it every
old school,
time.
like old people and old school. Like they have cool
Old
machines.
school. I mean, old people.
I mean, both old. I mean, you can tell people have been going there for like years, for sure. So it's an old vibe. But
Cool. Well, since it's already 1:02, I'll just get us started here, since once again, all these webinars are recorded. So if you have to hop off, your Wi-Fi gives out. I've heard it all. Don't worry. We're going to send out an email and I will post these as well. Today, I just want to thank you guys for taking out the time to listen to the supplement overview. So this is going to be an overview. Heather has stuff ready. So does Dean. So just listen to what they have to say and we'll try to answer some questions at the end. There are specific webinars for pretty much each product coming up, and Heather will hit on that at the end. So any specific questions I'll hold off to, and you can email challenge@axandsledge.com and I'll make sure those are in Heather's hands. With that said, we have the pro. Her name is Heather and she's our product specialist here. And we have the bro, Dean Perrone, and myself, Carly. And with that said, I'm going to give it off to you, Heather.
okay, yeah. So essentially what Dean and I will be doing, and Carly as well, throughout the next few weeks is covering all of the supplements that we have to offer more in depth in accordance with our categories. So obviously when you look on our site, how we kind of like separate and distinguish different supplements, we have the pre-workouts, intra-workouts, proteins, weight loss, stuff like that. So we will be diving more in depth on each one of those as we go throughout the weeks. But for now, what we wanted to do is give you a general overview and also just let you guys get to know who we are. So like Carly mentioned, I'm the product specialist at Axe and Sledge. I started about a year ago. And what I do is I work alongside the owners to help with like product formulations, product development, flavors, different formulations, working with our manufacturer, education. So I do a lot of like the nerdy stuff that no one really likes to talk about, but it's important because we want to make the most effective, best tasting supplements on the market. So that's where the science comes into play. But also Dean is very crucial in this, in these webinars, because he kind of helps relay the message in a different way. If I'm explaining something that's a little too in depth, Dean will be like, well, this is kind of what she means. He's kind of like my translator. That's why we call it the bro and the pro.
Yeah.
He's got the bro science, but Dean is also very well versed in our supplements because obviously he's been with us since day one and he's taken all the products, he's used them. So through his own self experience and his own, days of competing and, getting shredded and bulking up and all of those things, he can kind of take his personal experience and also put a different twist on it. So maybe what's a product intended for, I can say the science on it and then Dean can put it into practical experience. So that's why we have the kind of dynamic here. And then obviously Carly also deals with a lot with customer service. So she kind of, is versed in like talking to customers about products and helping them out in other ways that maybe I've never even thought of, like problems they may have or comments or questions. So it's kind of cool. We're hitting all different sides of the spectrum. So what I want to start with though is, like I said, a general overview of what we have to offer. But what I want to, before we do that, is just to highlight what supplements are and what are like their benefits, because a lot of people think that, the supplement industry gets a bad rap because everyone thinks that like we're just trying to sell you like shady stuff that doesn't work or like things that are borderline illegal or something like that. And we're very, transparent with our formulas, with everything that we do at this company. We want to give you guys the best possible products on the market, and make sure they're actually giving you benefit versus just selling you something. So I would be the first to say that supplements are not absolutely necessary. You do not need supplements to reach your goals, whether that's fat loss, muscle building, gaining strength, stepping on stage, it doesn't matter. But are supplements helpful? Of course. And Dean, you can expand on this. Like what do you see the use of supplements in your own, day to day? Like what do they help you with and what do you see benefits of them?
Yeah, supplement, you see that question a lot where somebody says, what supplements are must haves? And the truth is like none of them, but technically, but that's what they are. They're supplements. That's the name of them. They help supplement what you're doing. The easiest one to understand for people would just be like protein, right? Which ours is farm fed, but supplementing with a protein powder is a very easy way, very fast way for somebody to hit their protein goals. That's like the easiest way to kind of break down really what a supplement is. So say your goal is, 200 grams of protein a day, and through food, you're only maybe able to eat 150 grams. You're kind of struggling to get all that food in or whatever. You can make a quick shake that takes 2 seconds and supplement with a good quality protein powder and hit that, your 200 grams a day goal or whatever. So yeah, and then like stuff like we'll get into, but I mean, like the pre-workouts, obviously there's lots of ingredients in there that help with energy, with blood flow. It's just different stuff like that are going to assist you in having a better workout, getting a better pump, having more energy, pushing through to push more weight and stuff like that. Just really intensifying your workout and giving you an all-around better experience with what you're doing. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Like you said, the protein is a very prime example, but even like fat burners, I know a lot of people look at our fat burners and they're like, oh, well, do I just take this and then I'm going to lose fat? Of course not. Like, you need to have your diet on check, and you need to have your training in check. You need to have your sleep in check, because all of those things are going to be your big rocks. You got to take care of the big rocks before you worry about these little small details. But obviously supplements, I always see them as problem solvers. So what is stopping you from reaching your goal, whether that's sticking to your diet, getting in the gym and having a hard training session, whatever it is, like our supplements are going to help you kind of amplify those things. They're not meant to be like these band-aids that you put on that you just hope everything gets better. They're supposed to, enhance what you're doing, just like Dean said. So that's the general overview of like why are supplements beneficial. And, we can go into so many different directions on which supplements that people could take according to their goals. But you always have to have that main goal in sight. So whatever your primary goal is, you need to look at that, look at your diet, training, nutrition, sleep, and then look into supplements of what is going to help fill the gaps in your diet or your training or whatever it is. So I think that's kind of how you should approach it. Don't just jump straight to the supplements, because then you're just going to spend a whole lot of money on things that probably aren't going to get you very far if those other things are not in play. I mean, how many times, Dean, have you heard someone say, hey, I've been taking this supplement for about 3 weeks and I don't feel anything. Like, it's not doing anything for me. It's like,
Yeah, especially if I would say out of every supplement there is, you already kind of touched on, a fat burner is probably the most, I don't know if I want to say controversial or whatever, but it's like some people, especially if you're new to supplements, some people think a fat burner, like you said, you just take that and you're going to lose weight. Mm-hmm. Like Heather said, everything else has to be in check. If your diet is not where it should be, and I don't even like using the word diet, because I think diets are very short-lived. Like I like to just say like your nutrition. If your nutrition is not on point, and whether you're doing cardio and working out or whatever, but if your nutrition is out of whack, you can take the best fat burners in the world and you're not going to lose weight. It's just, that's like a fact, because you can't, it's not like a magic pill. You're not going to, be able to eat McDonald's every day and take fat burners and lose weight. You got to, like Heather said, you got to have everything else in check. So that's exactly what we're saying. I mean, all of these supplements, to me, they're like icing on the cake. If you have a good foundation, as far as your nutrition, you're working out, whether you're doing cardio or not. I mean, some people can get away without doing cardio. A lot of people can't, but again, cardio to me is another thing that's kind of icing on the cake. It's something to assist with, losing weight, but you have to have all of those things in check and then add the supplements in to kind of take you to the next level and help out, I think.
Yeah. And I think last thing I want to touch on too is context is extremely important. So I do a lot of Q&As on whether it's the challenge page or just the Axe and Sledge Instagram, and people are like, well, what's the best X supplement for this goal? It's like, you know what, like I can ask you 10 more questions to actually even get you started in the right direction. So, I mean, one thing that really separates our company, besides the transparency and the products and the quality that we focus on, is our customer service. And Carly knows this, is like, if you guys have a question about something, reach out to us. We can actually help you, because we're not just going to give you black and white answers of like, hey, I want to lose fat. Okay, just take Fired. Like, that's not going to help you at all, really. I mean, so I think, and also, I mean, the customer service team reaches out to me all the time to help, answer questions if they don't know, but they're, pretty well educated on how to, ask you the right questions to get you in the right direction. We're not here just to sell you stuff. Like I said, I know we're a supplement company and obviously our goal is to make money, but our goal is to actually help you and help transform, especially with this transformation challenge. I mean, the sign up's free and you get, we're giving away $50,000. So it's not every company just does that. So we're just here to provide you with as much value as possible. So with that said, I think that's a pretty good. Dean, do you want to touch on anything else or?
No, I mean, I think you hit on everything. And just to kind of back up what you said, I mean, there's been times where, going back to customer service and just complimenting them, there's been times where they've reached out to me and just say, hey, because they don't know, like somebody's asking, can I stack this with this, or, you know, and stuff like that. So again, like, just like Heather said, if you email into our customer service with a question and they don't know the answer, they're not just going to blindly tell somebody something. They're usually going to reach out to somebody like Heather or even one of the athletes or whatever, like me, and kind of get our experience or expertise or our suggestion of what to do. So you guys can feel safe in that as well.
Yeah, and I would say the more specific you are with your questions, the better. I mean, you don't have to write us a 10-page article, but like say, hey, you know, these are my goals, this is what I'm struggling with. Like, is there anything that can help me? You know, and we can kind of go back and forth with you. So like that's the biggest thing. We just want to help you out, whatever that means, whether that means you buy a product or not. Okay, so I want to jump into just a general overview. Like I said, we're going to be going a lot more in depth on these as the weeks go by. But in general, we just want to give you guys an overview of what we have to offer, because I know even the past year, our line has grown tremendously in terms of our product categories. Obviously, when we started out very sports nutrition based with pre-workouts of protein, fat burners, and then, you know, carbohydrate powders or amino acids. But now we've branched out into health and wellness and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of tools that we offer, and it's just depending on what you need and what will help you the most. It's not like you have to use everything, but so the first thing I want to start with is pre-workouts. So pre-workouts, we offer 3 different pre-workouts, and the one I'm going to start with is hydraulic. Hydraulic is obviously our flagship pre-workout. What's really cool about it is a non-stim pre-workout. Okay. So it has everything you need besides the caffeine. So you can take it any time of day, but especially at nighttime for those people who need to sleep, because you should not be taking caffeine no matter what anyone, I mean, don't look at Dean, because Dean drinks energy drinks at like midnight or Carly, but you know, but within 5 to 6 hours before you go to bed, you should stop taking caffeine, whether that's coffee, whether that's energy drinks, whether that's pre-workout. And I know a lot of people, they do the 9 to 5 work and then they work out at night, right? That's a very popular time to go to the gym. So if you do want to still get the benefits of a pre-workout, take hydraulic. Hydraulic has everything. Like I said, it's got the tingles, so you actually feel it kicking in. It's got the pump. It's going to help you get a better pump. This is more geared towards bodybuilding or I guess strength training. It's not really like, I had someone ask me like, hey, should I take this for cardio? Not really. I mean, you don't want to get a pump on the treadmill. That's kind of strange. I mean, it's for cardiovascular activities. I wouldn't take it just because of the other effects. It might actually, I wouldn't say decrease your performance, but it might, you know, leave you feeling not as good. So that's something that I would negate. But then we have other pre-workout options. So Dean, do you want to cover ignition switch?
Yeah, ignition switch, I would say, is our like moderate stim. But ignition switch to me is kind of like the all-around pre-workout. If somebody's just looking for a good pre-workout that has some pump ingredients in it as well with moderate caffeine or moderate stims, that's like the go-to. So when you think about like your overall, just, you know, when somebody thinks pre-workout, ignition switch would be it, because it has a little bit of everything, kind of the best of both worlds, as opposed to like hydraulic, like Heather said, is the pump non-stim pre-workout. So, and I will say a very popular thing that people do is actually combine or stack ignition switch with hydraulic as well, which we'll get into later. But those are 2 pre-workouts that you can actually put together. Again, because hydraulic does not have any stims in it, we kind of formulated them to be able to go together. But yeah, I mean, that's the way I would kind of just explain it. It kind of has focus, your stims so you get a little of energy from it as well. And it does have some pump ingredients similar to hydraulic. So if you're looking for the all-around pre-workout ignition switch, like Heather said, if you are working out later at night or whatever, and you're worried about trying to get to sleep after, you probably do not want to take ignition switch because of the caffeine in it, and just stick with something like hydraulic.
Yeah. And also I just want to touch on, like, if you look at the spectrum of pre-workouts we have to offer, we have like over here, we have hydraulic that has no stims. Over here, we have 7th Gear that has all the stims, and it's really like a focus and, you know, stim heavy pre-workout. And then we have the middle, we have, you know, ignition switch. So those 3 are really like what we have to offer. And we offer different pre-workouts because everyone is different and everyone works out at different times and they have different needs. And that's why we try to, you know, offer those, because a lot of companies, they have 1 pre-workout or 2 pre-workouts, but they won't really have 3. And honestly, we could probably add 2 more pre-workouts for different people. So this is why we have those to offer. To touch on that, 7th Gear, it is our higher stim pre-workout. So one thing I want to note about this is recently we changed to a 60 serving label, and we cut the scoop size in half. So what used to be a 10-gram scoop size was now a 5. So you look at the label now and you see 60 servings, you're like, that's really not that much different than ignition switch, like caffeine content wise. Well, you got to realize is that we did that because certain stores in certain markets, they have a caffeine tolerance. So you can't even recommend to go over that certain amount. So we had to cut it in half for those reasons. But really the pre-workout was designed to be taken 2 scoops or 1 big scoop, which is the 10 grams, right? So either way you're getting the 10 grams. So that's why it's our high stim. It's actually got like 400 mgs of caffeine plus, whereas Ignition Switch only has like, around 200. So when people look at that, just don't get confused because we changed the label slightly. It's really designed to do the 2 scoops, but either way, and 7th gear is supposed to be, start with 1 scoop, see how you feel, and then you can kind of moderate it from there. But it's our higher stim pre-workouts for the people that have a very high caffeine tolerance. They're looking for increased energy, increased focus, but not a lot of pump. So that's your pre-workout. You can stack it with hydraulic if you want more pump, but there's not a ton of pump ingredients in there for that reason. So we'll leave it there because like I said, next week we'll go over pre-workouts more in depth, but that'll be a good overview so you guys know kind of what they are for. So the next category is intra workouts. Now this section is a little different because although these products are classified as intra workouts, they can be used other times of the day. We just kind of want to make it simple and say intra workouts. So that consists of the grind and demo day, and I'll have Dean cover the grind.
Yeah, the grind is our essential amino acid product hydration formula. A lot of people are familiar with BCAAs, and then now I think I would say in the last year or two, EAAs, which are essential amino acids, have become very popular, which a lot of people do know, but there's still a lot of people that don't know. The BCAAs, which are branched chain amino acids, they are actually part of the essential amino acids. So they are in there. But the grind is something like Heather said, where most people take intra workout. So it's going to hydrate you. Again, you're fueling your body with those amino acids. Some people, like she said, I know people that take it with their pre-workout. Some people take it intra-workout, during, and then some people take it even post-workout. I'm personally myself, I always take it while I work out. It just gives me something good to sip on. While I'm working out, I'd rather not just drink water. I kind of like something flavored, and we have a bunch of different flavors that are all great. So that's really what I do with that. Also with the amino acids, some people talk about being sore, especially in this challenge. The amino acids should help a little bit with that as well. Stuff like glutamine and stuff like that will help with some of that soreness that some of you guys are probably feeling as well.
Yeah. And like you said, hydration is key, right? Like if you're not drinking enough water, a lot of people are like, well, I don't like the taste of plain water. I mean, at least sipping on something that has electrolytes. Oh, go ahead, Dean.
No, I was saying.
Oh, I thought you were waving.
A lot, yeah.
But at the same time, there's people who, and I think someone might be asking about it, like, should I drink it all day long? To be honest, no, I don't. You definitely should not, because not only do you get amino acids from the grind, you get amino acids from your diet. Amino acids are naturally found in protein. So it's probably a lot, but there is some negative effects of taking in too many amino acids. That puts a toll on your body, especially your kidneys. I don't want to freak anybody out, but I would limit it to 2 to 3 servings a day. And you can put, I don't know how much, Dean, you do, but it's pretty flavorful. So you can put a scoop in a lot of water and it still tastes pretty decent. You don't need it to be this 8-ounce shot,
Yeah. And I think it's personal preference, because we've seen those questions a lot in our Facebook groups, where a lot of guys, especially construction guys or people that are just doing stuff on the road, or they'll ask, what other people suggest. Because a lot of the guys that use our products will like to take a gallon of water and throw a couple scoops in there, and then they drink that all day long, and it helps them, get down an easy gallon of water throughout the day. So that's something, people could do as well, as long as you're, getting it in. I am one of those people that drinks it quite a bit, just because it helps me tremendously, get my water in, instead of just drinking plain water. So, but yeah, it's
not to say that you can't. I just wouldn't be like, oh, okay, 5-6 servings every single day, day in, day out. I mean, like I said, if you ask me hey, when should I take the grind? Ideally during your training. And like I said, mixing it with a ton of water, 1 scoop and 20 to 6 ounces of water, and just sip on that throughout your training. And that'll help you stay energized and hydrated, because hydration is key for not only performance, but energy. Some people feel really tired and fatigued when they're dehydrated. So
yeah. And if people on the call start to use it, just find what works best for you, what you're, as far as flavor wise, I'm saying, because everybody's different. Some people might think it's sweet and they don't want as much, or other people, 1 scoop could go into, like Heather said, 20 ounces might be your sweet spot, but one scoop into 50 ounces of water could be, the next person's sweet spot. So just find out what you like flavor wise and roll with that.
Yeah. Okay. And then one more thing I want to touch on before we leave is that this category, I guess, the grind and hydraulic are both Informed Sport certified. So what that means is that all of our products across the board are third-party tested to make sure that they contain what they say. But what the Informed Sport does is that they send it off to Informed Sport to get tested for all these different banned substances that different federations test for. So whether you're an NCAA athlete, you're a firefighter, you're a first responder, you're a football player at high school, whatever it is, they're going to help. They're going to test it to make sure there's no banned substances, so that it's safe to take if you are subject to drug testing. So it's only those two products, but all of our products are third-party tested. So it's a little confusing. That's just an extra step we take with those two. So next we're going to demo day. So demo day is our carbohydrate powder. Okay. And a lot of people, I prefer taking it into workout, but it also depends on the situation. For example, if I'm training early in the morning and I don't have an appetite and I need to get some carbohydrates in before I start training, I'll mix 1 to half to 1 scoop in my pre-workout, because then that'll get the carbs in my system and digested and ready to go when I'm actually training. Let's say I'm not doing that. I have a good pre-workout meal, an hour or hour and a half beforehand. I'll sip on a half scoop to a scoop during the training. Now a lot of people ask us like, hey, can I take this if I'm trying to lose weight? Of course you can. You can take it whether you're trying to lose weight, maintain weight, or gain weight. It does not matter. And I think the biggest thing is you want to maximize your performance in the gym, because that's what's fueling your progress. Like that workout is the big part of your day that's going to set you up for success. So why not maximize your performance within that training session? Like I said, it's not like you have to have, demo day, but if you are feeling like you're lagging in your workouts, you have low energy, your pumps aren't the best, or let's say it's been a while since you ate, you don't have enough fuel, whatever it is, demo day is an awesome product to help you get through your training and just crush your workout, because that's, like I said, the highlight of your day. What's cool about demo day, it is a low glycemic carbohydrate powder. So it actually does not spike your insulin or your blood sugar, but it does pass through your stomach very quickly so that it doesn't cause gastrointestinal distress. I know a lot of people have, I'm sure almost everybody here has eaten a meal, went and trained right away and feel like a brick is in their stomach and they're going to throw up. You sip on demo day, it's not going to feel like that. It's a much better alternative to Gatorade, because Gatorade is just pure sugar. It's just dextrose, whereas we use different carbohydrate sources to help fuel your energy, so you're not just crashing in an hour. So I just want to touch on demo day. A lot of people stack it with the grind during the training. You can take it on its own. You can mix some of it pre-workout and take some intra. You can even take some post-workout to help fuel recovery. This is a very versatile product, but it's something that you just need to mess with and see what works for you. So just count. 1 scoop, there's 25 grams of carbs and 100 calories. So count it like any other carbohydrate. If you're tracking your macros, which you should be, that's just going to go into your macros. So yeah, I don't know if you want to touch anything, Dean.
No, I think you hit it. It's just you kind of, I think, hit all the points. That's the same way I take it. I usually take, a lot of times I'll take like a half scoop pre-workout, half scoop intra. Like I just mix it right in with the grind, and I mix the other, pre-workout into my pre-workout. Same thing. To me, it's one of our most underrated products. And I don't know how many times over the last 2.5, 3 years I've suggested it to somebody, and then you'll see them in like one of our Facebook groups say, I can't, literally, I don't know how many times I've seen it. People go, I can't believe I've waited this long to try demo day. And like everyone's like, it's a total game changer when you're training. So it really is. I personally can tell a big difference when I'm training with or without it, because there's some days where I don't use it. But and then one of the biggest questions I think we get is what you already touched on is, people say, can I actually take this if I'm trying to lose weight? You definitely can. It's just make sure, like Heather said, make sure you count it, because it is a carbohydrate. So, it's similar to like if you were eating food, if you were eating, 25 grams of rice or 25 grams of oatmeal or whatever, just make sure you count the carbohydrates and count the overall calories in your day. But you could definitely take it when you're trying to drop weight, lose body fat and stuff like that. But
yeah,
unbelievable product, I think.
I agree with Dean, because for me, honestly, I'm at the point where I'd rather train without a pre-workout than without demo day. I enjoy that product so much because it's made such a difference in my performance and the way I feel, especially when your workouts are pushing over an hour, hour and a half or so. It makes a huge difference. If your workout's 45 minutes, not to say you can't get a good workout in, you definitely can, but you might not need it, especially if you're fueling before and during, or before and after.
And it will definitely help with the pump for anybody that's never tried it and you're kind of missing out on that, big pump while you're working out. You'll definitely notice a difference.
Okay, so the next section we want to cover is protein powder, or just protein in general. So we offer 3 different, I guess, options in this category right now. At the moment, we have a whey protein isolate, which is our farm fed. We have homemade, and that is our meal replacement powder. And then we have our homemade bars, which is a protein bar. And I think a lot of people miss those. Those are nice to have on hand. They are gluten-free. They're one of our few naturally flavored and sweetened products. So it's 100% naturally flavored and sweetened. They don't have any artificial, flavors, sweeteners, sugar, alcohols that really mess with your stomach. Because a lot of protein bars are that way. And they do have a good amount of like fiber, fat, protein, carbs to kind of help keep you satisfied. You can almost use it as a meal replacement depending on, who you are, but they're definitely a good thing to have on hand, especially when you're like, oh, I'm in a pinch and I don't have anything to eat. They're good to have on hand because like I said, all natural ingredients are going to digest really well and give you the fuel you need till your next meal. So Dean, why don't you touch on farm fed?
Sure. And I'll add real quick to our homemade bars. If people will look at them and you talk about how natural they are, if you pick up most protein bars across the industry, you're going to probably see about like 35, 40 ingredients on a lot of them. And you probably can't pronounce 90% of the words that are on the label. Pick up one of ours, you'll see probably about 12 ingredients and you can pronounce, and you should know what every single one is. So it's a big difference. Farm fed is, that's our whey isolate, grass fed isolate, very, very lean, very low fat, very low. There's really no fat or carbs in it, really. What is it? I think maybe 1 gram or something like that. And so comes in multiple flavors. And again, this goes back to something like I talked about supplementing. It's an easy way to hit your protein goals with very low calorie, very, like I said, hardly any fat, any carbs at all. So if you're just looking to get that protein up to help build muscle, preserve muscle, farm fed is really a good thing to look at. And again, it also has what we have in there is called Digezeb, which is a digestive enzyme, which also helps with like Heather said, some people have bloating issues or just gas, problems with certain protein powders. We were one of the very first people on the market, which a lot of people are starting to copy us now by adding that stuff to their protein powders. We started putting digestive enzymes in the protein powder. And that is why a lot of people switched over to our protein powders because of, experiencing no stomach issues whatsoever, no bloating, no gas problems, or just upset stomachs and stuff like that. So again, farm fed to me, it's like I usually have 1 shake a day just because I usually double scoop it, which gives me, with that, I use a little bit of almond milk and, it's like 50 grams of protein in a matter of 2 minutes, so it's super easy to use.
Not to mention, before we, cover homemade, farm fed is extremely versatile. I mean, protein powders across the board. A lot of people think, oh, I got to slam my protein shake the minute I drop the weight and my workout's done. It's like, protein powders can be taken at any time of the day. And you can also, Dean's notorious for this, of doing different recipes and stuff, is like, you can use it in various applications. So whether that's making protein pancakes, adding it to your oatmeal, mixing up a smoothie. I mean, there's so many different ways you can use whey protein. And like Dean mentioned, our whey protein isolate has very low lactose. So if you are one of those people who you're like, man, I've tried so many protein powders and they just don't work for me. Like if you have not tried farm fed, if you literally, unless you have a dairy allergy, we're like, man, I'm just allergic to dairy in general, then, we have like barely any lactose, and the digestive enzyme that we add to it helps a ton. So definitely just try it out and see how you feel. I can't guarantee anything, but I've spoke to so many people who are like, protein powders just don't work for me. I mean, like I've tried so many, like you got to understand there's a difference between ours and others. And it's not only the isolate, but the quality of the protein powder itself makes a huge difference. So the next one we're going to talk about is homemade. So homemade is a meal replacement. Same thing with demo day. It can be used whether you're wanting to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain weight. Does not matter. And unlike farm fed, it does have a good amount of like, carbohydrates, and then a healthy amount of fats, and then some fiber in there. So it's supposed to be a meal replacement. So let's say you're in a pinch, like I said, with the homemade bars, you're on the road, you're in the office, whatever, you need like a better, higher quality meal than what you're going to get at a gas station or a fast food place. Opt for homemade, because homemade is a great alternative. It has everything you need. We tried to design it as a meal. So it's got the high quality carbohydrate sources. It's got the fiber. It's got the micronutrients. It's got the high quality protein. It's got everything you need. So One thing I do want to note though, it does contain whey protein concentrate. For some people that can cause issues with digestion if you are sensitive to lactose. We do add digestive enzyme blend in there, but that's something you're just going to have to see how you feel. But homemade is, I think, one of our most underrated products because of most people that buy from our company are very busy with work. And, if you want to stay on track with your diet, having homemade on hand is perfect for that because it's going to help you stay on track. So just bringing it to the office, bringing it to, if you work on a construction site, you're on the go, keeping it in your truck, whatever it is, it's an easy way just to mix it with some water, some milk, and you're good to go. So 46 grams of protein in one scoop. It's got about the same amount of carbs and only 6 grams of fat. So it's like this perfectly balanced meal, but it's on the go. I'm not saying replace one of your meals with it, but use it as you need it. You know what I mean? Like if you can get a high quality whole food meal in, then do that. You don't have to have homemade, but it's nice to have on hand as that, like I said, it's a problem solver. It's going to help you stay on your diet. So that's the difference between farm fed, homemade. We get a lot of those questions. One's a meal replacement. One is simply a protein powder. You can easily turn farm fed into a meal replacement if you add other stuff to it, like peanut butter, fruit, maybe some oats or something like that. But if you don't want to do all that work and you just want a meal replacement, then homemade's the way to go. So, okay. So the next one is fat burners. So similar in this category, we have two different options. We have double time and we have fired. Double time is, I explain it as like our more moderate fat burner. It doesn't have it helps boost your metabolism, decrease appetite, increase energy focus, but it doesn't make you sweat as much as fired does. Fired is literally called fired for a reason. It kind of helps fire up your, your sweat rate, your metabolism, I guess, per se. It gets you sweating a lot. So I like to keep that towards your workouts. Like if you're doing fasted cardio in the morning or something like that. It's not that fired has more high stim. It's just a different product and it's for a different consumer. Double time is a great product to have on hand just for your everyday use. In the morning, it's called double time because you can use it in the morning and then early afternoon. So 2 times a day. Fired, I prefer just doing it once a day before some sort of training session because you don't want to be at your office sweating a lot. So, Dee, do you want to touch on anything with those two?
No, it's it's just I see the question a lot and I get it myself. Like people kind of like you brought up about which one's best or which one's better. This also, I think, is a very personal preference, whether somebody likes, like my wife, for example, likes double time better. I like fired better. It's just like Heather said, one is a little bit more mild. You're not going to sweat as much, like she said, with double time. A little bit probably more appetite suppressant with double time as well. And then fired's just, like she said, a little bit more intense. You're going to sweat more. You just take it once a day. So it just depends what people like, and I tell people you may have to try both, and see which one you prefer. And that's what a lot of people end up doing is maybe, they'll try double time first and then they might try the next month, go to fired and see which one they like. But that's kind of it. It's just, I think it's personal preference on those and what you're looking for in a fat burner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some people even keep both in hand. Like, let's say I do cardio 4 times per week in the morning, I use fired, but on the other days I use double time because I still want the energy kick. I want the appetite suppression, but I don't want to be sweating all day. So, fired is a pretty cool product. Like I said, it's just for different consumers. And like Dean said, I think you just got to try them out to see which one you like more. Because the caffeine content is actually pretty similar across the board, but there's other components in fired that act as stimulants. And then there's other components in double time that act as focus enhancers or appetite suppressants. So they are just 2 different products. They're in the same category, but they are geared towards different people, I guess, different preferences.
Yeah. And I'll say real quick too, I know lots of people just from, being on Facebook and Instagram that actually use fired as like a pre-workout in a sense. They're not big pre-workout people, but like Heather said, they kind of they might work out in the morning and they're looking for that little kick, that little boost of energy. Plus they want to sweat, during their workout or whether it's cardio or working out or whatever. So I know some people even use fired as kind of like their pre-workout instead of taking a pre-workout. So that's always an option as well.
Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to touch on, which isn't technically really a fat burner, but it can help with energy and focus and especially productivity is one of our newest products we've released is Actual Intelligence. That is it's a nootropic. So it's more built for someone. It's definitely lower stim. It's really just for those people who they need a little bit better focus and energy either while they're doing their work or while they're doing, certain tasks throughout the day. It's definitely good to have on hand because it's just it could be used for studying, gaming, working. It's really versatile. It's not going to sit there and make you sweat, but it does have that energy focus element and then a little bit of appetite suppressant. It's not, like I said, thermogenic per se, but it can be used if you're, dieting and you're kind of struggling with energy and productivity. I wouldn't take these all on the same day, obviously. Just pick one or the other and try them out. So that's kind of how those are categorized. So an actual intelligence, like Dean mentioned, could also be used as a pre-workout. If you need the extra focus and energy, stack that with hydraulic and you're good to go. So that's definitely an option as well. So just want to mention that it's one of our newer products, and it's a little more niche of a product. It's more geared towards, everyday people that, maybe don't even go to the gym, but it just, could be used for different reasons. So the next category is just overall health and wellness. So we have some different products in here. The first one I want to touch on is Greens Plus, which is one of our newer products, but it's definitely becoming one of our most popular products, I'd say. Obviously a lot of people know there's greens powders are very trendy. They're all over the supplement industry. What makes ours a little different is that we added in different things like ashwagandha, coconut water powder, digestive enzymes, like Dean mentioned with Farm Fed, and some different stuff like that to help with overall like health wellness. It's mainly like a gut health oriented product. I like taking it in the morning or even at night, just, daily to help with overall gut health. I like taking it before a meal because it has the digestive enzymes in there. So it's a great product just to take daily. To get the most benefits, you should take it daily. So, like I said, we're going to go more in depth on Greens Plus in the future, but Dean, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered it. It's what, like you said, greens powders are becoming more and more popular, and I think they're everywhere. And for us, doing this Greens Plus, it's been a huge seller. People seem to love it. 2 different flavors. They're both great, but yeah, and I do the same thing. I take it literally every single day, and I usually take it in the morning. I do it with like meal 1. So like for me, for example, I'll do cardio in the morning, and then as I make my first meal, I make a drink, and I usually throw a scoop of the grind. So I have my aminos in there, and then a scoop of the Greens Plus, and I just drink that with my meal. So, but yeah, every single day, lots of benefits, especially if you're not somebody that loves greens. So I would definitely throw something like that in there to supplement getting your greens in.
Mm-hmm. And that product is 100% naturally flavored and sweetened. So for those people who are looking for, hey, I want to limit my artificial sweeteners as much as possible, this is a product that you can take. Same along the lines of the homemade bars. We try to keep it, natural, organic ingredients, very clean. And like Dean said, it actually tastes good. There's not a lot of greens out there that taste good, and these are actually pretty good, and they mix well with other things. So, Dean, do you want to cover elbow grease?
Yeah. I mean, elbow grease is our joint formula. Something, especially me, like working out for years and beating up my joints and shoulder issues, elbow issues. It's something that I like to mix in as well, but it will help with like joint pain. It'll help with, inflammation, stuff like that. You could probably go more into the ingredients that are in it more than I could, but it's definitely something I know. Again, it's another big seller that I know a lot of people use, especially that work out a ton and beat up their bodies.
Exactly. And I think the biggest thing is, especially with this challenge, we're getting a lot of people who are really like kicking it up, whether on the physical activity. So whether they're doing more cardio, more weights, they're pushing themselves in different ways, you might start to get these aches and pains. And I mean, best practice is not to wait until you hurt, but to try to prevent that in the first place. So elbow grease is very good for just overall maintenance of joint health. Helps with recovery, because your muscles are not the only thing that's getting beat up when you work out. It's also your joints, your ligaments, your tendons. And injury is the first thing, or one of the main thing. Injury or illness is going to stop you from training, right? Because you get injured, your motivation goes down, you don't want to be in the gym, you're frustrated, all of those things. So this is more along the lines of, I try to get people on this earlier than later, because you don't want to wait till there's a problem and then you start taking this, you're not going to feel better like magic. It's not the way that works, but it's giving the body the tools it needs to repair and to recover from all of the training you're doing. So it's definitely a great product to have on hand, just like the greens, something you'd take daily. So the next product I'm going to cover is Daily Cleanse. So Daily Cleanse is another product we just added last year. This is kind of a unique product. It's kind of like a, I don't know, one size fit all kind of health and wellness supplement, because it's got a lot of antioxidants in it. It's an anti-inflammatory, and then it's also a kind of like detoxification product. It can be used, like I said, regardless of what your goals are. It's something that offers a lot of health benefits. and it's more along the lines of that, but it's definitely the biggest thing. It has the antioxidants and the anti-inflammatory, and that can help with recovery. Also just keeping your immune system strong, and whatnot. So it's a very versatile product, can be used by anybody, but it's another one of those things that obviously it's in the name. You want to take it daily to see the benefits of it. So it's also great when you're on a fat loss diet too. It kind of helps you, stay healthy as you're trying to lean down and whatnot. So the next one is going to be GDA Plus, and Dean is the snack king, so he knows all about that product.
Yeah, real quick too, just to touch again on daily cleanse, like, because I know people hear the word cleanse and they think like the fad cleanses people do that, for like a week or whatever, and then you blow your colon out. That's really not what this is. That this, like Heather said, it's more, to me, it's like an overall health product. So definitely look into all the ingredients, especially the anti-inflammatory, the antioxidants and stuff like that. Daily cleanse is probably one of my favorite products we have, period.
Yeah, and when I say detox, I don't mean like Dean said, blow your colon out. It's like helping your organs, right? Your kidney, your liver function better so they can do their jobs and detox your body. So your body has its own internal detoxification systems. We don't need to like add to that and like ruin your digestive tract. It's about helping those organs work better. So because whether you drink or don't drink or whatever you do, you still are, your body experiences or, is exposed to a lot of toxins on a daily basis, whether that's just through eating food and digesting and metabolizing, stuff like that. Different things get produced that your body needs to get rid of. So that's our goal with that product, is just to help your digestive tract, your kidney, your liver, your internal organs function better. So that's the goal of the product.
I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know some people hear the word cleanse and they think of like all the weird fat cleanses you hear. So this is like a health product that's great for you. So GDA Plus is a glucose disposal agent, and what that does, or what it is, basically that is something that you would take before very high carb meals, high fat meals, cheat meals, stuff like that. Basically it's structured around high carb meals because your body can only take in so many carbs, right? And then what's going to happen a lot is a lot of those carbs or glucose gets basically stored as fat. So the idea behind GDAs, or the glucose disposal agents, is they help shuttle those carbs, that glycogen, into the muscles as opposed to being just stored as fat. So it'll help really store that into the muscles and then be able to be used as energy. So I know some people that even take something like that before a big carb meal pre-workout, because they feel like they get a better pump and all that because they're using all those carbs. Me personally, I will use it mostly for like a high carb meal. So if I'm going out, so let's say for a big cheat meal or something like that, whether it's burgers, fries, pizza, or something like that, I'll usually take some with me, and I'll literally take it right at the restaurant. Or like say a big sushi, we go out to get sushi and I'm going to eat 50 pieces of sushi, which is tons of rice, obviously tons of carbs. I'll take it for something like that. So for me, I used it like when I prepped for my last, I think 3 shows, I've used the GDA Plus through my whole prep, because a lot of times on Saturdays I would do a big carb or a big cheat meal and tons of carbs. So it comes in perfect for that. But again, like Heather said, even if you're just trying to lose weight and you don't want to just be, and you have, say, a high carb meal, 50, 70, 100 carbs, let's say, there's directions on there on the bottle, as well as how many pills to take according to how many carbs you're taking in. Just follow that. But it's definitely something that I think comes in handy with the high carb meals, high fat meals. And it's another thing that helps, I think, with digestion. And for me personally, and I've seen tons of other people say it that use it, they don't feel as bloated either. So if you have a carb meal where you're eating 150 grams of carbs, you don't feel bloated like you would, when you take the GDA Plus.
Yeah. And I just want to touch on, I know a lot of people, they think GDA, they think for some reason, they think weight loss. I think GDA Plus is probably a very underrated muscle builder, or even a bulking agent, I would say, because when you're bulking, you're trying to eat all this food and your body's like, it needs to have like the tools and the resources to digest and absorb all those nutrients. Because GDA Plus, it's called Plus because it has other stuff in there to also help you break down and absorb the proteins and the fats you're eating as well. Besides, other products might just have like glucose disposal, which is just carbs. So our product is more geared towards, like Dean said, those cheat meals, or like you're bulking, all those big heavy meals you're eating can help you break down and absorb and actually partition those nutrients to the places you want them to go. So like I said, this is very versatile product. It's an overall health wellness product. Because obviously blood sugar responses and stuff like that are very important for overall health. So it doesn't really matter what your goals are in that sense, but.
Yeah, I would say that's what you brought up a good point to think of it more as to me, like I said, it's like helps with digestion immensely, and then helps shuttle not just the carbs, but like Heather said, all the nutrients to where they need to go. And for me, like it's just helps, at least in my mind too. It's like I'm not going to be storing all that stuff as fat, and it's helping move all the food you're eating into the right places so it can be used more as a energy source or as fuel, as opposed to just storing it as fat. So definitely more of again like a overall health product as well, digestion and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so the next category is we can just touch on this briefly. It's our muscle building category. It's Manpower. Manpower is a essentially just a natural testosterone support supplement. It is geared more towards the male demographic to help optimize testosterone levels in production. Let's say you're a 20-year-old male that has perfect testosterone levels, perfectly normal, then you're probably not going to see any benefit from this. But if you're someone who has naturally low testosterone levels, or maybe you're older and your testosterone production is declining, this is something that can help support your natural testosterone production. It's not like steroids where it's going to give you testosterone. It's going to help your body make testosterone. So instead of, taking testosterone exogenously, that shuts down your own production, whereas Manpower helps increase your natural production. So it's a little different in that it does help with, power, strength, endurance, muscle mass gain, stuff like that. But it's definitely a product you got to take for a few months to see those returns and benefits, because it has a lot of different natural herbs and extracts, and it's honestly plant-based for the most part. And it just helps with overall, like I said, energy, libido, focus, muscle strength, recovery. Women can, I would say, take it, but I would check with your doctor first. Someone asked that. Because if you don't, like, if your hormone levels are in the optimal ranges, whether you're a man or a woman, then you don't really need to mess with them, right? Like and plus too, if you're a man or anybody, actually, sleep is a big thing that impacts your hormone levels. So trying to get adequate sleep every single night, that's going to make a bigger impact on the way you feel and your hormone levels than taking like Manpower. So this is something, as we mentioned in the very beginning, you got to get your other stuff in check before you start taking supplements and expecting a benefit. So you're not going to, take this product and get really shitty sleep and have a really bad diet and expect really much results. So Dean, you can touch on Manpower if you want to.
Yeah, like it's like Heather said, I just want to just touch on this, some of the stuff you said. It's like, because I've had over the last couple of years, again, people think it's like, it's not going to be the effect of like if somebody's taking steroids and taking a testosterone cycle by any means. Like Heather said, you at that point, you're taking artificial testosterone and boosting it, and you're also shutting down your own testosterone. This is like the opposite, where it's just helping you kind of produce your own testosterone. So the effects are obviously going to be much, much less than doing something like that. So don't try to compare it to that by any means. This is just something to help give you a boost in your natural testosterone. And you touched on, can females take it? It's weird because I've really never got that question. And I think in the last 2 weeks, I don't know if it's maybe just from people from the challenge, I've had three different females on Instagram message me and say, can I take Manpower? And I basically said the same thing. I'm like, women, they can take it because women do have a testosterone level they should be at, but like the same thing, it's like you have to check with your doctor, get your blood work done, and see if you even need it. Because if your testosterone levels are fine for a female and your hormones are fine, there would be no reason for you to take it. And I mean, don't save your money and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, and like Dean touched on with the blood work, I mean, that's so crucial. I know not everybody can afford to do it, but if you are experiencing some sort of like, symptoms of unbalanced hormones or non-optimized hormones, then it is something to look into, because it is a health concern. So that's something that's big, not only for this challenge and performance and achieving your goals, but it is just an overall health thing that you need to look into if you can. And there's other ingredients I would probably recommend to women besides Manpower that might be within Manpower, but you can buy them on their own as single ingredients. So that's something that, I mean, if you look into it and you're like, hey, I want to take certain supplements to help optimize my hormone levels, you can reach back out to us. But that's not something I would make a blanket statement and say, yeah, go ahead and take it. So the next supplement category I want to cover is sleep aids. So sleep aids, we offer just one. It's called Dozer, and we only have one flavor, honey lemon tea. Hopefully we'll be adding more flavors, but for now that's what we have. So this is a, I guess, globally compliant sleep formula because it has no melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that's produced in your body, helps with sleep. And as we mentioned before, sleep is so crucial no matter what your goal is, because you need to get enough sleep to help facilitate that recovery. All those adaptations you're trying to achieve from your training and your diet, that happens when you sleep. So Dozer is not something that you should take every single day, but it is great to have on hand on those nights that you're like, I know I'm not going to get enough sleep tonight, or my sleep quality is pretty poor right now. Like, you need to help kind of get yourself into a rhythm or a routine. You can start doing Dozer and see if that helps you. Like I said, it does not contain any melatonin, but it does contain other ingredients to help increase your own natural melatonin production. It does contain GABA, and GABA it's got a pretty high dose. So GABA can cause different side effects. So I would start with half a scoop, see how that feels, and then go from there. But like I said, it's not a product you should rely on every single day. It's just something to help kickstart your sleep routine. So you can start getting into the habit of like, hey, I'm going to bed at this time, waking up this time, and see how you feel based on that. But Dean, do you have anything to mention on Dozer?
Just what you said. I wanted to warn people about the GABA, because sometimes like GABA is something, like Heather said, some people will have no effects from it. They won't feel anything. And some people, what it does for most people is give you like a kind of, I guess, like a tingling kind of effect in a way. And some people that have never felt it before, or that, they feel it for that first time, they kind of freak out and they're like, we've seen messages like, oh, it's causing this tingling thing, which does go away. It's just very short lived, but sometimes people don't know what that is. And that's from that one ingredient. But like I said, even myself, who's taken it tons of times, there's some nights where I take it and I don't feel that at all. And there's been times where I do, but I know what it is. So it's not, it doesn't make me freak out or anything like that, but it is something that goes away. So in case anybody does take this, but like the most important thing is what Heather said, if you decide to take something like Dozer, start with like a half scoop, see how you are, and then go up from there. Even if you take a half scoop and you're fine, I would then maybe go to about a 3/4 scoop before you go to like a full scoop of it, just little by little until you know your tolerance and see how you are. But
one thing I want to,
it's a big favorite too. People, the flavor of this with hot water is unbelievable. It's like a honey lemon, like hot tea. The flavor is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on, so Dozer is not in the fat burner category, but it could arguably be a fat burner, because if you're not getting enough sleep and energy levels stuck throughout the day, and you're really struggling because you're dieting, and I know Dean probably knows this firsthand, is when you're dieting and you're cutting a lot of fat or losing a lot of weight, your sleep is the first thing to start to diminish in terms of quality, duration. You start waking up, you're hungry, and the less sleep you get, the more impact it has on your other hormones. So your leptin, your ghrelin, your different appetite hormones. So Dozer could be like our underrated sleep aid, or fat burner, I guess, because if you get enough sleep, then that's gonna, Mike's yelling, it's gonna help us, help you get enough sleep and then be able to function throughout your day and adhere to all those diet and training plans that you want to do. So that's what I want to touch on with Dozer. So the other category is our basics powders. So our basics powders is the last thing we're going to go over. So that is just single ingredient supplements that you can add to your stack if you need to. So what do we offer in there? We have glutamine, like Dean mentioned, that helps with recovery, gut health. He likes to add that to his morning supplement stack, the grind, the greens. It's good to take on its own. All of these products are unflavored. They have no fillers, no excipients. It's literally just that one single ingredient. And we also have beta alanine, which is a good pre-workout ingredient. We have betaine, another kind of pre-workout-esque ingredient. We have Pico 2, which is a mushroom powder. And I love that product. I think that's a very underrated ingredient. It just tastes very strong. So that's why we don't put it in other products. It's like, you got to kind of take it with other things. And then we have creatine, we just added, which I recommend to literally everybody to take, and arginine and citrulline. Those are both kind of like 2 pump-based ingredients. So that's what we have on the basics line. That's more for people who are looking to customize their stacks in certain ways or take certain ingredients daily versus, just pre-workout or whatever. That's kind of an option we offer. They're just add-ons. Like I said, we have other capsule-based basics as well. Like we have a multivitamin, a a fish oil, a CLA. Those are also basic capsules you can add on. Obviously, it's important to take an omega and a multi every day just to cover your basic needs for micronutrients, essential fatty acids. But yeah, those are kind of like our supplements that we offer that not a lot of people, they don't get the highlight because they're not these comprehensive, crazy formulas, but they are, study backed ingredients that are cheaper alternatives. You can easily build your own custom pre-workout stack from those ingredients if you want to, or you can add them in different ways. So Dean, do you want to touch on anything there?
No, I think you hit it all. They're just the basics is, I mean, besides, like I'm a huge fan of like the multivitamin and the omega-3. Like I take those every single day. So, but I mean, besides for those that are kind of to me, they're very important to take every day. But a lot of the other stuff and the powders, like Heather mentioned, they're really just add-ons that people will throw into their pre-workouts and stuff like that. But a lot of people love them because they like to up the dose a little bit or kind of create their own pre-workouts and stuff like that. So just something to look into if you have any interest, obviously, besides the creatine as well. That's a big one to take each day. Yeah. I saw somebody ask about creatine having a loading phase.
Yeah.
No, that's the creatine having a loading phase was kind of like something years ago. Now I don't remember what it was. It was something I remember that you would have to take it, and then for like the first week, take X amount of grams. A lot of that stuff was completely debunked with creatine. Creatine is something also that builds up in your system. Mm-hmm. So as long as you take it, just take 5 grams a day, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's also where creatine got the whole, does it cause bloating and stomach discomfort? Yeah. It's when people were doing the loading. Like, yeah, you take 20 grams of it a day, you're going to get some discomfort. So just take 3 to 5 grams per day, and take it when you can remember. That's the biggest thing. If you want to add it to your supplement stack in the morning, whatever, post-workout, doesn't matter. Just take it when you can. And yeah, that's pretty much, like I said, we're going to go over a lot more in detail on these. If you guys have questions, I'll be doing more Q&As on the HWMF challenge Instagram. Reach out to customer service. I mean, whatever. I mean, we can get your question answered. So that's pretty much what we want to cover for this webinar. So
is that all? Dean, do you have anything to finish with?
No, well, I would say no, then I say something.
Yeah, you're like, no, hold on. I'm just gonna stop asking you.
I think I've done that every time. I don't have that much to add, but I do have something. Yeah, just no, what Heather said, it's like I know we're getting some questions, and there's some of the questions on Facebook. This was like an overview of just kind of the supplements in general. So for some of you guys that were here last year, Heather and I and Carly did this every week. There'll be a webinar when we dive much more into like each of these categories. So like today we went through all of these different categories of just the different supplements that we have here to offer. But like we'll do, a webinar like strictly on pre-workouts, or strictly on, the protein. And then that's where we'll really get into all the details, like the ingredients, when to take them, how to take them, what to mix them with, stuff like that, what you can stack them with, flavor, favorites, whatever it is. So those will be the webinars that you guys will want to tune into if you have some very like deep in-depth questions, and we'll get all that stuff answered for you there. So I do apologize if we're not getting into a ton of questions on these, because this was really just kind of a brief overview of what we have here.
Yeah, and we'll cover, like Dean mentioned, product stacking, stuff like that, a lot more in depth. So next week, just to give you guys a preview, we're going to be covering our pre-workouts, of course. So any questions on ignition switch, 7th gear, hydraulic, stacking them, when to take them, whatever, anything you have, definitely let us know, next week, and then we can answer those. So
yeah. So going off what Heather said, if you guys have any questions, specifically what she just mentioned, challenge@axandsledge.com, go there, and I'm going to get those together for Heather and Dean so they can look at them beforehand and just kind of map out what the common questions are, because that's super helpful for us as well to make these webinars as beneficial as possible. But with that said, everyone who joined in live, thank you. Everyone who's going to listen, thank you. Dean and Heather, thank you for taking an hour out of your day to go over this. And every Tuesday, you can catch all of us here at 1:00. But tomorrow, it's already Wednesday. Tomorrow night is the 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time webinar. That's going to be with Seth, Jeremy, Martin, and Keon. And I will be there myself. So if you guys have any questions for those guys, shoot us an email. I will make sure that, we get it all together and Seth and the guys see it beforehand. But with that being said, everybody, thank you, and hopefully see you tomorrow night.
See you guys. Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah.